Hi everyone, welcome back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with the match preview for Newcastle's upcoming game this weekend on Sunday at a weird time of 1:45 kickoff in the FA Cup against Brighton at St James's Park. We're going to get stuck right into this game, talk about how we think the team's going to line up, talk a bit about the game itself, the opposition, and how we feel the game is going to go. If that's the kind of thing you guys like, smash subscribe, help get us to the next milestone. While I'm recording this, we aren't at 10k yet, and if we already are, by the time you watch it, awesome. Thank you very much for that. But if not, smash that button and help get us there anyway. So let's get stuck right into this then. Obviously, off the back of the Liverpool game, there was some weird feelings really about the club, about the squad and everything else. You know, some of the players missing from injury was a big concern. I think they'll probably be missing again for this weekend as well. But it was a bit of a nothing game for me really against Liverpool. Liverpool just looked like they were in a training mode, and we didn't really push our game onto them a great deal, to be brutally honest with you. So I was a little bit deflated and disappointed in the performance against Liverpool. I was happy we didn't get tonked, but I was a bit disappointed we didn't really do anything, you know, outside of Lewis Hall and Lewis Miley. More on him in a second. You know, I don't think any of the players really pushed themselves into the game, but, you know, it is what it is, I suppose. You know, Liverpool are the best team in the league, and maybe the lads just, I don't know, just didn't believe they could get a result. I hope that isn't the case, because we've got to play these fuckers in the cup final in a few weeks, and we better believe we can beat them, because if we don't, there's no point in turning up to Wembley. But anyway, that's one cup. Let's talk about another cup. This is the FA Cup. Now, it's a weird one, this FA Cup, isn't it? Because for starters, Newcastle haven't won a trophy in 70 years, 70 years. We can't afford to be tossing off cup competitions like they don't matter. I've heard some people go, well, it doesn't really matter if we got this one. We're in the Carabao Cup final. If we win that, fuck it. Yes, if we win that, it's a brilliant achievement to win a trophy. But we're only 2 games away from Wembley here with this FA Cup tie. And this is a winnable game against Brighton. Brighton are 8th in the Premier League. Brighton are a really, really good team. You know, I like the way they play football. I like the manager's style. They've got some excellent players as well, some exciting players. You know, Yankuba Minteh obviously is one in particular that we let go before even playing for us. So there is a little bit of that hanging over the club as well. But, you know, we'll get stuck into Brighton in a second. But this is a dangerous game, but a winnable game for Newcastle at home. And I really feel if the lads screw their heads, they can get the result in this game. And then only one game from Wembley yet again. You know, and if we could get the 2 cup finals and win one of them, Christ, but we win 2 of them, what a season that would be. But let's get stuck into the game itself. And this is how we've gone for the lineup. I'm not sure this is what Eddie will do, but this is what we think that, you know, the lineup that should be chosen. But I think a lot of this probably is right. A lot of it may be open to suggestion. But we've gone for Martin Dubravka in goal. Not only do I think Martin Dubravka will start this game because they won't play Nick Pope in this game and the Premier League game, I'd also think Martin Dubravka can feel a little bit hard done by that he's been dropped for Nick Pope. Certainly because Nick Pope has looked shaky as anything when he's come in. Dropping balls, dropping crosses. Very lucky not to concede the 3rd goal, by the way, at Anfield. That was an awful take by Nick Pope. He looks massively off his levels. You know, he can't dive to his left. He looks shaky. You know, he couldn't kick shit off a beach if he was walking up and down it with his dog. You know, and it just doesn't look good at all for Nick Pope at the minute. And Dubravka's been in excellent form before he got dropped, you know, so rightly so he can feel a bit aggrieved. So I think that more than one reason Dubravka will come back in between the sticks in this game. And I, for one, will be confident and happy to see that. Now, at the back, we've made some changes. I think Tino will have a rest in this game. I think Trippier will come in for this game at right back. You know, Trips' legs aren't what they used to be, but he does bring that calmness, that leadership level as well to the team, which has been lacking in recent weeks. I think Trips will come back in. This is where I've made the big call. I'm not sure Eddie will make this call. I fucking hope he does, because Fabian Schär has been rancid for the majority of the season. More mistakes against Liverpool midweek. Very lucky not to be punished for them. Too slack at the back. Dangerous passing. Trying to walk out of defence and get caught in possession. He needs to be dropped. He needs to be rested. And this is the best game to do this in. And see how Emil Kraft does at right back. Kraft never lets you down. Kraft's a steady 7, 7.5 out of 10. So I would stick Emil Kraft in at right centre half. Now, next to him, this is a huge if. But there is talk, and the way Eddie was talking in the press conference, that both Botman and Joe Linton have a chance. And he said, knowing them two, I know they'll want to play. I think we'll start with Sven Botman in the heart of the defence in this game. I don't know if he'll play the whole game. He might, you know, only play the first half, depending on how the result goes. But Botman needs a bit of sharpness back in them legs in the lead up to the final. He may not play against West Ham. They may rest him in the run-up to the final, probably similar to some other players, which we'll talk about in a second. But I do believe that Botman will start this game at left back, and I hope he does. I think Dan Burn could do the rest as well. Dan Burn's played a lot of football, and he's starting to look a bit fatigued to me. So I think that Botman should come in for the start in this game. Left back, I've gone with Lewis Hall. Matty Targett could easily start this game, but I don't think Howe would want to do that. I think he would want Hall to play at an excellent game against Salah. Even though Liverpool were kind of at half speed, I think he was excellent against Salah. He put some really good defensive performance in against him, and positioning was great, tackling was good. Pulled his centre half out of shit as well. I think Lewis Hall was excellent in that game, and he's young. He can go again. So I think he'll play in this game. Now, the midfield three is where I've made a big change as well. I seen Eddie was asked about Bruno Guimaraes in the press conference, whether he thinks he needs a rest. And he said, Bruno would tell you otherwise. And he waffled on a little bit. Bruno Guimaraes looks absolutely fucked. He looked so bad on Wednesday. I thought he had a pint and a bag of chips pre-match. He was running in treacle, too slow, giving the ball away, trying to win free kicks and getting caught in possession. The man needs a rest. If we want Bruno Guimaraes at his sharpest, at his best in the lead up to that Carabao Cup final, rest him for this game, Eddie, for the love of Christ. And not only that, we've got the boy wonder who can come in, Lewis Miley, who's been fucking outstanding every time he's come on. He scored a great goal against Forest. He was calming the ball. He used it well. He came on against Liverpool at Anfield, didn't look phased at all, playing at Anfield, huge pitch, pressure, playing against Argentinian World Cup winning internationals. Didn't give a fuck. Strolling on the pitch like he belongs there. Stick Louis Miley in for this game, Eddie, and rest Bruno. I've got Sandro Tonali alongside him. And then the other big call, Joe Linton. I think Joe Linton is fit enough to start this game. And I think he will start this game. And we've missed Joe. We've missed Joe's aggression. We've missed his running. We've missed him setting the tone. And I think for me, Joe Linton has to start this game to get some energy into those legs of his as well. Get him a little bit of a taste of top-level football again, because Brighton are a good side. This will be a difficult game for both him and Botman, and they need to get some energy in those legs and get the sharpness back. And this is a great game to do this in. So I think Joe Linton will come back into that midfield. I think Jacob Murphy will start in the right-hand side of the front three, mainly because there's nobody else to really go there. I think Callum Wilson will continue through the middle because, again, Isak's groin strain looks like it's keeping him out. I think that's what Eddie was saying. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Isak until the final now. I really don't. West Ham coming up week Monday, that is Wilson's game. Wilson scores against West Ham. That's what he does. And I think Wilson will start that game as well. Will Asula could easily start this game. And I think he'd warrant a chance to start this game. He's raw, Will Asula. He sometimes makes the wrong run. I saw Lewis Hall slip him in against Liverpool, and he went the opposite side. You can see Hall put his hands on his head, probably because he's used to Alexander Isak's expert movement. But Asula might get there. He needs to learn. He's raw, he's quick, he's unpredictable. Can be a real threat in a game like this. But I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Isak until the Wembley final. I really wouldn't. But I think Wilson will probably start this game through the middle again, trying to get some more sharpness back in those legs, because he did look rusty as hell against Liverpool at Anfield. And I think Harvey Barnes will come in on the left-hand side. Gordon could get a rest. Now, Gordon could easily go again and play again. I think Eddie could easily play Gordon. But I think Gordon could do with a rest as well. He has looked a little bit tired, a little bit fatigued in recent games as well. And Barnes needs to get some sharpness and fitness back in those legs. And needs a good game. Harvey Barnes needs a goal, needs an assist, needs to just get that confidence back up, because he's not quite been the Harvey Barnes, that we know and we loved earlier on in the season when he scored rakers from outside the box and stuff like that. Barnes is a much better player than he's showing. And in starting this game, give him a bit of that confidence. Hopefully he can go out and perform. And that's still a decent side. I know I've made some big changes there, but I think that's a decent side, and that could win this game for me. So let's have a look at how Brighton possibly might line up and some of their injury news. They are missing a few players. I think they'll be missing Lewis Dunk, Joel Wittmann, Julio, James Milner, ex-Newcastle player, Jason Steele as well. I think the way that Sports Mole have got them starting is they've got Verbruggen and goal, Lampard, who's a real dangerous player down that right-hand side, very quick. I remember him causing ASM massive problems a few years back, but he has had a few injuries since then. Webster, Van Heckel, Estupiñán, Carlos Belliba, who's an excellent player in midfield, real tough player. It'd be interesting to see how Louis Miley would do against him. Again, the physicality of him. Maybe that's someone Joe Linton can smash into if he's playing. Hinshelwood, Minter, obviously the Newcastle United player that went to Brighton, never played a game for us, but was very contentious. Rutter, Matoma, who's an excellent player, picks up a lot of real dangerous positions, very comfortable with the ball, can finish. And Sportsmo have got Danny Welbeck through the middle, but it could easily be João Pedro as well, who's in good form for Brighton this season. I think he's got something like 7 or 8 goals. And I think Welbeck's around about similar. Minter's got 5 goals this season as well. So in terms of Brighton, the threats that they possess, so they beat Bournemouth in the Premier League last time out. Obviously, Bournemouth tonked us at St James's Park. And the way they started, they had João Pedro up front. They had Rutter in just behind him, Minter one side, Matoma the other. They had Gomez and Belliba as the double pivot hold midfielder. And they had Lampard, Van Heckel, Webster, and Estupiñán as the back four with Verbruggen in goal as well. But in terms of the way they play, it's kind of like a 4-2-3-1. But where they get you, Brighton, is they get you with pace. We'll get you on the break. they'll spread it out wide to the likes of Minter and Matomo cut inside, little 1-2s that Link can play, the likes of Pedro and Rutter if he's playing. So they are a dangerous side, and I do like the way they play football, but they can be got at the back as well. There is no doubt about it. That back line there, does have a bit of pace. There's no doubt about it at all. Certainly Lampley's position, on that kind of right-hand side as well, which is possibly why he might start with going with his pace as well. But I think, the way that Barnes can cut inside and pull that trigger, I'm not sure Lampley's great at covering that kind of strike. So maybe Barnes will get the nod. But Brighton are a really, really good football team. This was not a good tie for Newcastle to get, really. There was easier ties in the pot, like say Leyton Orient, no disrespect to them, play, teams like that, Plymouth Argyle. Sorry, Leyton Orient went out. I beg your pardon. Plymouth Argyle. Let's see what I meant. Sorry, guys. I knew it was Man City game. I had Man City in my brain. It's been a long day. But yeah, so Plymouth Argyle would have been a better tie for us to, to get through a Cardiff City or something like that. But we've drawn Premier League opposition, top 8 Premier League opposition. So this is going to be a really, really tough game for Newcastle United. How do I see it going? I think Newcastle have got enough to get through in this time, maybe 2-1, just squeak by in the tie as well. But we could do with a good performance. We could do with some quality standout performances from the big players, like Tonali, Joe Linton coming back, blow off some of that rust, Louis Miley continuing that great vein of form. For me, Louis Miley is really pushing for the first team. He really, really is. I haven't seen Bruno have a great game for a long time now, and I think Bruno could do with a rest. I think that's possibly what's hampering Bruno's performances, but it's all down to the manager and what he wants to do. But it will be a tough game. It is live on ITV, I think, as well, for the UK viewers that watch it on terrestrial. I'm sure wherever you are in the world, you consume it wherever you are. If you're at the game as well, I'm sure it'll be a fantastic game for you to watch as well. But Newcastle United, for me, could do with winning this game because we can't toss off finals. We're only 2 games from Wembley, so they should give it the raw, try and win this game. But if they do lose, is it the end of the world? No, it's not the end of the world, really. We want to get as far in the competition as we can. But if we do go out to decent Premier League opposition, then we do go out. The Carabao Cup final is the easiest, well, not the easiest, but the most likely opportunity probably to win silverware that's in front of us right now. And then we can concentrate on the Champions League. Our squad is really thin, so being in the 2 cup competitions maybe doesn't lend itself to a thin squad like ours. But obviously, I do want to get through and I do want to win the game. But what I'm saying is, if we were to lose this game, I wouldn't come on here crying and shouting ball in the odds and effing and blind. And if we lost it, even though we played well and Brighton just played a bit better, that's what I'm trying to say. But hopefully Newcastle will do the business and win the game 2-1. I'll be back with a live post-match reaction to the game. So keep it evermore, guys. Like and subscribe. Help get us to the next milestone. Have a cracking Friday night. We're recording this, and we'll see you in the post-match on the Sunday. Cheerio, everyone. Take it easy.